The era of cold, sterile, gray interiors officially ended in 2026. We traded empty white boxes for rich, deeply personal spaces that actually feel like homes. For the past decade, minimalist designs dominated our living rooms with stark colors and sharp edges. Today, a massive shift toward warmth, texture, and nostalgia dictates how we decorate. You will learn the specific design elements replacing the old trends from color drenching to mindful maximalism. These specific choices reflect a broader cultural desire for comfort and authenticity over showroom perfection. Millions of homes spent the last 10 years trapped in a monochromatic gray bubble. Builders painted walls, laid floors, and installed cabinets in identical slate tones. That uniformity fractured completely by early 2026. People rejected the hospital-like sterility of stark white and cool gray. The rejection stemmed from spending unprecedented time indoors over previous years, which meant homeowners suddenly realized their spaces felt lifeless. They demanded environments that offered emotional support rather than just visual cleanliness. We saw the immediate collapse of the flipper aesthetic where every house looked identical to maximize resale value. Instead, individuality took priority. Buyers began paying premiums for houses displaying distinct character. The minimalist ideology simply failed to accommodate actual human living, leaving spaces looking constantly messy the moment someone left out a single book or coffee cup. Design experts noted this frustration, pivoting the entire industry toward forgiving, lived-in styles. Understanding the 2026 aesthetic requires looking at human psychology. Our homes function as our primary refuge from an increasingly complex outside environment. Clinical psychologists noticed the direct link between highly sterile home designs and feelings of isolation. This realization forced architects to rethink spatial planning entirely. They stopped designing for magazine covers and started designing for the human nervous system. We want rooms that physically embrace us, and that is exactly what the new, heavily textured, warmly toned trends provide. Designers call this emotional ergonomics. Every fabric choice and wall color serves a specific psychological purpose. Soft fabrics reduce auditory echoing, while dark walls create a womb-like sense of security. The industry shifted its metric of success from how clean a room looks to how safe it feels. The resulting environments actively lower heart rates and encourage genuine relaxation after a stressful day. Paint application methods completely changed this year. A technique called color drenching emerged as the dominant way to treat a room. Instead of painting walls one color and leaving the ceiling and trim stark white, designers cover every single surface in the exact same shade. You coat the baseboards, window frames, doors, and ceiling all together. The result eliminates harsh visual breaks that normally distract the eye. A small bedroom painted entirely in deep plum suddenly feels infinite because the boundaries between the walls and ceiling disappear. This approach requires commitment, but the payoff brings massive architectural interest to otherwise plain, boxy rooms. Paint companies reported a 400% increase in dark color sales for ceilings specifically in early 2026. People finally realized that a white ceiling often ruins the cozy atmosphere of a dark painted room by acting like a glaring bright lid on a moody box. The specific colors defining this era pulled directly from nature. Earthy terracotta, deep olive green, and rich chocolate brown form the foundation of the 2026 palette. Brown specifically replaced gray as the ultimate neutral baseline for homes. Decorators use deep mocha tones to anchor large living spaces, providing a much warmer background for furniture and art. These saturated colors change dramatically as natural light shifts throughout the day. An olive green dining room might look vibrant during morning coffee, but transform into a dark, intimate space by dinner time. Warm, creamy whites replace the stark, icy whites of the past decade. If someone wants a light room, they choose shades resembling unbleached cotton or heavy cream. These specific pigments absorb light rather than reflecting it harshly, which means your eyes never strain when reading or relaxing in these carefully curated spaces. If you are finding these design shifts helpful, hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. We release detailed home styling breakdowns like this every single week. Now let us continue. Pale blonde oak-dominated floors and furniture for over a decade. That trend officially peaked and collapsed. The spotlight now belongs entirely to darker, richer wood species. Walnut, cherry, and mahogany appeared in every major design showcase in 2026. These materials bring immediate gravity and historical weight weight to a space. A solid walnut dining table anchors a room in a way that light ash simply cannot replicate. Cabinet makers report massive demand for dark, visible grain patterns. Homeowners want to see the natural imperfections and deep color variations inherent to the tree. The shift toward dark wood pairs perfectly with the moody wall colors we just covered. A deep green wall behind a heavy mahogany bookshelf creates an atmosphere resembling a classic library. This specific combination instantly generates the feeling that a home possesses decades of gathered history. We call the next major movement mindful maximalism. Some refer to it affectionately as grandma chic. People actively reject the idea that surfaces must remain empty. Homeowners display their collections, books, and inherited items proudly. A sterile, empty coffee table feels sad in 2026. Instead, we layer spaces with meaningful objects that tell personal stories. This style relies heavily on floral wallpapers, ornate vintage mirrors, and soft, skirted furniture bottoms. The goal involves creating an environment that feels familiar and deeply comforting, resembling the warm homes of our childhoods. You mix old antique store finds with new purchases. A brand new velvet sofa sits comfortably next to a 60-year-old brass floor lamp. This blending of eras means you never have to buy matching furniture sets again. Your home grows organically over time, collecting layers of visual interest that a catalog simply cannot sell you. Flat, smooth surfaces lost their appeal. Modern spaces require intense, tactile variety to feel complete. Designers focus heavily on how a room feels physically to the touch. Chunky wool rugs sit under heavily textured boucle armchairs. Velvet drapery hangs against grass cloth wallpaper. This extreme layering of materials creates physical warmth and visual depth without relying solely on color. If you design a room using only one shade of cream, the texture must carry all the weight. A smooth leather sofa paired with a flat cotton rug looks entirely lifeless. You fix that by adding a heavily woven throw blanket, a rough stone side table, and velvet pillows. The contrast between rough and smooth materials gives the eye something to explore. High-end designers often spend more time sourcing the perfect rough-hewn stone for a fireplace surround than they do picking the actual furniture. Cabinet hardware and plumbing fixtures experienced a dramatic shift. Warm metals like bright gold and unlacquered brass dominated the market for years. We now see a massive return to cool metals across all price points. Silver, polished chrome, and brushed nickel dominate the 2026 catalogs. Brushed nickel specifically offers a perfect middle ground. It maintains a clean, modern appearance while providing a subtle traditional warmth that sterile chrome sometimes lacks. These cool metals cut through the heavy, dark paint colors perfectly. A dark chocolate bathroom vanity shines brightly when fitted with polished chrome faucets. People realize that mixing metals works incredibly well. You might install brushed nickel cabinet poles but keep a vintage brass chandelier hanging above the island. This deliberate mixing prevents a kitchen from looking exactly like a specific era's time capsule, ensuring the space remains relevant for decades. Lighting transitioned from a purely functional requirement to the primary artistic focal point of a room. Recessed ceiling lights, often called can lights, fell out of favor rapidly. They create harsh, unflattering downward shadows. In 2026, illumination comes from multiple different artistic sources placed strategically at eye level. Sculptural lamps act as stunning centerpieces even when turned off during the day. We see oversized, asymmetrical paper lanterns and heavy carved stone table lamps replacing standard fixtures. The light itself washes softly against walls rather than blasting straight down. This approach requires placing 4 to 5 distinct light sources in a single living room. You combine a floor lamp, 2 table lamps, and wall sconces to build a glowing perimeter. The resulting atmosphere feels incredibly expensive and instantly calms the human nervous system the moment you switch off the overhead glare. Furniture silhouettes changed drastically. The rigid, boxy sofas of the 2010s disappeared entirely. Soft, sweeping curves define almost every major furniture release in 2026. Dining tables feature rounded bullnose edges instead of sharp right angles. Sofas curve gently inward, encouraging people to face each other during conversations rather than staring straight at a television. Archways replace standard rectangular door frames in new construction homes. These continuous curves soften the entire architectural footprint of a house. corners. Psychologically, human beings respond much better to rounded shapes. Sharp corners subconsciously trigger danger signals in our brains, while curves mimic the natural environments found in nature. A curved boucle sofa placed in the center of a square room instantly breaks up the rigid geometry. It introduces an organic flow that dictates how people actually move through the space, eliminating awkward traffic patterns. Bringing nature indoors evolved far beyond simply placing a potted plant in the corner. Biophilic design matured into a fundamental architectural requirement. We incorporate actual natural building materials continuously throughout the home. Rattan, woven wicker, and raw terracotta feature heavily in premium interior spaces. Designers use heavily veined, dramatic natural stone for countertops instead of synthetic quartz. Every single material should ideally come from the earth. Indoor trees grew massive in scale, with homeowners planting 8-foot olive trees or black olives directly into built-in floor planters. The line separating the outdoor patio from the indoor living room vanished completely. Large sliding glass walls remain open, while the flooring material continues unbroken from the kitchen straight onto the deck. This continuous connection to nature actively lowers blood pressure and grounds the home in its specific geographic location. Health and longevity became the central pillars of home renovation. People design spaces specifically to support their physical well-being over the next 30 years. The concept of aging in place lost its clinical reputation and became a highly luxurious standard. Bathrooms feature beautiful zero-entry walk-in showers built entirely from textured non-slip stone. Grab bars disguise themselves cleverly as high-end towel racks, or sleek matte black architectural features. Air quality monitors and advanced water filtration systems integrate directly into the home's primary infrastructure. Kitchens feature variable height countertops to accommodate people sitting on stools while prepping meals. Smart home lighting automatically shifts color temperature throughout the day. The bulbs glow bright blue-white at noon to boost energy, and fade to a deep amber by 8 o'clock to stimulate natural melatonin production. The house actively works to keep its occupants healthy. Kitchens underwent a massive identity shift. The all-white kitchen with white subway tile officially died. Instead, the kitchen morphed to look exactly like another cozy living room. We hide appliances completely behind custom wood panels. The refrigerator looks exactly like a large antique walnut armoire. Upper cabinets vanished, replaced by heavy stone shelves displaying beautiful ceramic dishware and vintage oil paintings. People use real table lamps on their kitchen counters to provide soft, warm light while cooking dinner. The central island often looks like a beautiful piece of standalone antique furniture rather than a bulky built-in box. Range hoods feature custom plaster finishes that curve gracefully up to the ceiling. These specific choices strip away the utilitarian commercial kitchen feeling. You feel like you are cooking inside a comfortable historic study rather than a sterile food preparation laboratory. The bathroom represents the final frontier of the 2026 design evolution. These spaces transformed into deeply personal spa environments focused entirely on decompression. Standard white ceramic tiles gave way to rich, dark Zalige tiles that reflect light beautifully due to their handmade imperfections. Freestanding copper or blackstone bathtubs sit as the central sculptural element in the room. Wood features heavily here as well. Heavy teak bath mats and floating walnut vanities bring necessary organic warmth to the traditionally cold space. Designers often hang heavy velvet curtains over the bathroom windows to push the luxurious room-like feeling even further. The most striking change involves the integration of high-end audio systems directly into the shower ceilings. Homeowners treat their morning routine as a vital mental health practice. The environment must support that ritual with perfect lighting, rich materials, and absolute acoustic control. The final defining trait of 2026 interior design involves extreme rejection of disposable furniture. People stopped buying cheap, particle board items intended to last only 3 years. The ecological impact and poor physical quality finally alienated the mass market. Consumers now prefer to save up and purchase one solid wood dining chair at a time, rather than buying a cheap set of 6. The second-hand furniture market exploded as a result. High-quality vintage pieces from the 1970s and 1980s command premium prices because they boast solid construction and unique silhouettes. Reupholstering an old, well-made sofa became incredibly popular and entirely mainstream. This shift means homes naturally look more collected and unique. No two living rooms look exactly alike when the furniture comes from estate sales, antique shops, and careful long-term investments rather than a single massive warehouse delivery. The interior design trends of 2026 prove that we crave environments built for actual living. We traded cold minimalism for deep colors, rich woods, and layered textures that actively support our mental well-being. Your home should tell your personal story through vintage pieces and deeply comfortable spaces. By embracing color drenching or simply adding a curved lamp, you bring vital warmth into your daily life. If you found these design insights helpful, subscribe to the channel for weekly videos that help you build your perfect space.